If you're anything like me, then Mario Party Superstars was basically your lifeblood, whereas Super Mario Party made you want to eat the bark off of every tree in North America. I had been patiently waiting for another Mario Party game, hoping for more creative boards, fewer motion controls, and more characters. Super Mario Party Jamboree does not feel real. It is the Mario Party game I've been waiting for my whole life, so let's stop messing around and talk about it already. The last thing I expected to feel when picking up a Mario Party game was overwhelmed. There was just so much to do. After the 45-minute tutorial, of course, the game opens up into a smorgasbord of modes. I felt like a kitten at a fish fry. I just didn't know where to start. Your main starting point is in Party Plaza, which operates a little bit like Super Mario Party's main menu, but much more simplified. It's basically a square, but without all of those nasty sharp corners. By talking to Toad, you can add more local players and change your character. It seems like it does take a few more button presses than previous entries, but I'll get used to it. Nearby is the new Party Planning Committee, which is a solid way for solo players to have a slower-paced introduction to the series. You can freely roam around boards and help everyone do menial tasks like finding a screw or moving a box from one store to another store, things that they really could have done by themselves. Like, very easily. And hey, I'm happy to help, but they don't even have an excuse as to why they're doing an impersonation of a baked potato. It's not that their legs are broken after falling out of a hot air balloon. No, they're just relying on the kindness of a wandering Yoshi that's still working through a psychological requirement to do everything that is asked of him without questioning it because he believes that is the only thing he can do to give his life value. But thankfully, like every extraneous mode in the game, it's completely optional. Honestly, to have any semblance of a narrative guiding you through a Mario Party game was both jarring and alarming, but I began to appreciate it more and more as time went on. By doing these little tasks, you get decoration for the Party Plaza, which was very welcome because the default plaza looked like an absolute dumpster fire. These decorations range from subtle to drastic to, oh my god, is that Mario's head on a stick? Oh no, it's just his hat. Ooh, that was close. As I moved further with this game mode, the importance of my assistants became much more clear. By the time I was engaging in a boss battle with the help of companions I made along the way, I was downright dedicated to my mission of claiming some shiny objects that I had already collected so that Toad would have enough decorations for a pirate-themed party. 10 out of 10 motivation. The secondary starting point is the hot air balloon, where you can get a good look at everything you can do, and there's so much to do. From this vantage point, you can jump to the Mario Party Islands, Minigame Bay, the Koopathlon, Bowser Kaboom Squad, which is exactly as fun as it sounds, 3 different motion control games, all of which have several games within each game. There's just so much to do. But the hot air balloon is not just for picking your next destination, you can also zoom in with your binoculars and take pictures to get points or unlock new characters. I don't know if the camera is embedded in the binoculars or if it's like putting a phone camera up to the lens of a telescope, but however it works, it works. They've even gone to the effort of adding special sound effects to each area that you can only hear if you look close enough. Again, the logistics of this lead to a lot more questions than answers, like how can binoculars amplify sound waves? It's not for small minds to ponder. There are 7 boards in the Mario Party mode, though several need to be unlocked first by gaining party points, which I thought meant gaining favor with the coolest guy at the party, whose name is probably Brent, by either doing backflips into the pool or doing an impressive set of close-up magic. Somehow I was wrong. These party points open up new modes and collectibles that keep you feeling like there's even more around every corner, because there's so much to do. It may take a while to unlock each board, but you're definitely going to have fun doing it. Actually, I shouldn't promise that. I've met a few people in my day who couldn't have fun if they were taking a tour of the Grand Canyon and their guide was a pug on a motorcycle, so I'll just say you'll probably have fun doing it. When starting a game, you can customize a ton of rules that were never offered before. You can turn off motion controls for those who enjoy their pro controllers or just don't have an enormous desire to break all of the lamps in their living room. For the small percentage of players who wish to limit their relentless torture, you now have Pro Rules. This option dramatically changes how each game is run. With Pro Rules, there's only one bonus star that's announced at the start. It's a fixed number of turns. You get to choose an item before your first turn. There are no chance time spaces, no item mini-games, limited stock for items in shops. Landing on a Bowser space always takes away a star. There are signs to indicate where the stars might move to, no hidden blocks, players vote for the next minigame. This is something that can be changed in the standard party rules too. There's no special events for the home stretch of the game, and dueling another player can now result in losing a star, not just coins. If that interests you, you're in luck, even though luck is all but removed from the equation. If that does not interest you, guess what? It's optional, so you don't need to keep complaining about it, Trevor. In general, the game rules and dice rolls are much closer to Superstars and other earlier entries in the series, which I was very relieved to see. Each of the boards are completely unique in both presentation and special events. They're pretty much an ideal blend between Super and Superstars. No more boring grid pattern, but we still have dynamic changes that keep you on your toes. When booting up a board for the first time, there's so many special elements to remember it's nearly impossible to keep track of everything. But this only encourages repeat playthroughs to get more comfortable with each board. Cursed dice are now creepy dice, which I think makes them even less desirable. Players actually move out of the way for you, which is strangely benevolent. Traps can be used on any board. They're sort of the spiritual successor to the piranha plants in Peach's birthday cake. The stars aren't typically offered by any particular character, so they're much more lonely now and makes me want to collect them even more. You gotta give them a good home, you know? You'll notice the order of events changes on the bottom, so you always know what's coming next. The AI players can range from brilliant to self-sabotaging, which is quite realistic now that I think about it. Throughout your games, you can acquire Jamboree buddies, which, similar to Super Mario Party, can help quite a lot, but they're also kind of annoying and I hate them. Jamboree buddies are limited to one at a time, thankfully, and you have to play a minigame showdown to find out who gets them first. This showdown is different for each character, but it takes entirely too long to complete. You can spend eons winning over their heart only for them to immediately abandon you as soon as another player passes right by. It really puts their loyalty into perspective. When you have an ally, you can get extra coins and be able to buy 2 stars at once, but you can also get double the consequences. At the end of each turn, we see platforms rise and fall with the current rankings, even more evidence that short people are not valued in our society. Over on Mega Wiggler's Tree Party, the center spaces can shift at a moment's notice. Aside from that, it's one of the more simple maps that doesn't induce too much untamable rage. It's actually become a bit of a comfort board for me. The one I was expecting to be the most relaxing was Rainbow Castle, but Flower and I spent 95% of the time with Bowser at the helm and scary rock and roll music playing way too loud. Rainbow Galleria has multiple floors, escalators, an elevator, stamps that can be exchanged for coins, a raffle that I still have not been able to enter, and a ton of shops. Roll'em Raceway was one that I was concerned about from the trailers. I had no idea how they were going to make it seem like you're not wasting a ton of gas idling your engines as you roll 1s and 2s. But there are a lot of events and ways to speed things up. You also stop the dice with your spoiler, which is tremendous. As with all maps, luck is as predictably unpredictable as ever. And this one you can tell has a Western theme because there's a cowboy hat. There are a ton of minigames to experience with a solid variety across the board. Some are the epitome of frustrating, as they should be. There really is a lot to see, including references to Indiana Jones, Real Steel, No Man's Sky, but I do have some concerns. The zip lines didn't have any safety harnesses at all. The bongo drums seem to be really out of tune. And Goomba definitely needs to work on his vertical leap. The only repetitive thing I kept seeing was this screen in particular. Just over and over, like all the time. It was basically the only screen that I saw repeating itself. It's just so strange. I don't know if it was a glitch or an intentional decision by the developers, but this animation got a lot of screen time. Overall, I could have done with a few more mini games, like maybe 300 or 400 more would have been really nice. The games certainly feel like they take a lot longer than they used to, and with how big the boards are, those final results can look much more minuscule than usual. And this is rubbed in your face even more during the recap. Okay, we get it, nothing happened, we get it. There are so many records, so many achievements, so many unlocks, so many statistics. I felt like a data analyst looking through spreadsheets. It was actually kind of comforting. When it's time to shake things up, you can head over to the Capathlon, where you can join the ranks of 20 total competitors, where you'll play simultaneous mini-games with an emphasis on speed and competitiveness. These can be really quick sessions if you want them to be, and are a great way to pack a lot of energy into a small amount of time. Right next door is a beautiful cooperative game where everyone bullies Bowser by gathering cannonballs and then kicking him in the stomach. This takes a fair bit of time to complete, but allows you to play a bunch of collaborative minigames that you otherwise can't experience. There's even a tiny amount of strategy involved. The highest flying collection of games actually puts Mario in the driver's seat in a Mario Party game. What a twist! This utilizes the Joy-Cons in the expected way of airing out your deodorant. There are 3 modes within this mode that can all lead to peculiar sights. I never thought I would carry Bowser in a little basket while flapping wings made from the feathers of 400 pigeons. Something that Wii Sports Resort never had the guts to do was let you fly around freely without a time limit, and for this I am eternally grateful. Sometimes the camera is frustrating and you do fall at the pace of a mortally wounded mosquito, but it's hard to complain about a game mode that's as peripheral and altogether unneeded as these. Is it strange? Yes. Is it unnecessary? Yes. Do I love it? Yes. Also exclusively utilizing the Joy-Cons are Toad's Item Factory and the Rhythm Kitchen. Toad's flat puzzle game has you combining marbles that get flattened and turned into items, don't think about it. There are 10 areas with 3 stages each, leading to quite a few brain teasers that often require quite a bit of finesse. In the Rhythm Kitchen, you face 3 special challenges where everything must be on the beat. If you don't do things at the exact right moment, there's no going back and the meal will be ruined and the judges will burn you, don't think about it. And this game mode in particular is... It's fine. It's okay. I don't hate it. I don't have anything against it. There's nothing wrong with it. I'm not upset about it. I don't even need to talk about it. Not that I want to avoid talking about it. I can talk about it whenever. It's fine. I'm fine. It's fine. Over at Minigame Bay, you can play, get this, mini-games. There's even an unlockable boss rush game where you have to defeat 4 different monsters who I think are just misunderstood. It feels like a miniature tournament that I enjoyed much more than I thought I would. You can jump into online games very quickly for specific matches or lobbies, or in survival you can rank up one round at a time where you only advance if you get first place. But Dirt, surely you must have more complaints. You bet I do. This Bowser's too large. He's never gonna fit through doorways with that build. Oh, wait a second. Also, your Jamboree buddies don't make any noise when they clap. If this was a mistake, it's slightly upsetting. If they're being intentionally passive-aggressive, it's much more upsetting. Also, Bowser snaps now. I don't know how to feel about it, I'm just reporting it. Looking around, it just feels like they threw everything they possibly could at this game. I imagine they had a plethora of ideas on the back burner and decided to funnel them all into one game, even if it didn't make sense. Even after playing 3 games with my beloved Flower, streaming 4 different game modes with my good buddy Z, and recording gameplay for 5 hours, there were still 50 mini-games I hadn't seen yet. Everything is so polished and complete, it's bizarre that this is exactly what it looked like upon release. An argument can be made that this is the best Mario Party game ever, and I'm making that argument. This is the best. It's the goat. It's the alpaca. It's the pelican. I'm sick and tired of being overly cautious about handing out praise in a world where criticism is found in every corner of the internet. This game is a treasure, and I will tolerate no slander against it. That being said, your opinion still means a lot to me, so tell me what you think of it in the comments, or via telepathy, whichever is more convenient. And if you're someone who is negatively swayed by good reviews because you think it can never live up to the hype, don't buy it, it's terrible.